Intelligent Environments are proud to present a series of DALI deciphered tutorials. Cracking the code on everything DALI. Our quick simple tutorials will take you through everything from what it is, how to wire it and products available. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel and stay updated for new releases. Rebecca, from Intelligent Environments, is going to take us through the features you get as part of Planview, as well as how to use it. Planview is free and comes with your standard cloud subscription.
Let's get started with a free Planview. You can view devices, their location in the building, IDs, groups, status, and really cool is the issues. They're color-coded and can be highlighted so the most critical issues can be identified on the plan and rectified quickly. Control device functions such as setting groups or devices to minimum or maximum or specific levels. View your building through a really familiar interface using floor plans. The cloud gathers data from almost every device in the building, including sensors, switches, lighting, emergency devices, and controllers. This data is collected in near real time, no matter the building size. Enjoy the programming features such as defining rooms and groups. Define your fitting types, including manufacturers, description, or codes to each fitting for easier maintenance and reporting. Assign unique icons to each fitting type to allow easy recognition when viewing the plan. It works on any browser, on PC, Mac, Android, or Apple tablets, and allow multiple users to interact with the building simultaneously.
Okay, so let's kick it off with the access into Planview. So that's via the cloud.zencontrol.com, and you would need to make sure that you have been provided access control of the site. So the dashboard here allows you to physically see all the sites that you manage, and then you can drill down into each site as needed. So we'll go into our demo site here, and today the tutorial is based on Planview. So let's jump into that now. So our first view here is our floor plans. So down on the left, this is where we'll get our multi-floor view. So if we had lots of different floor plans, we could have a 100-floor site if we wanted to, and it would be listing down here all those different labels of whatever we gave our site plan. It might be broken up into different tenancies. So we might have level 1, and then there might be a number of different floor plans associated on level 1 with your different fit outs perhaps, or whatever the case may be. From there, we have our standard zoom functions and maneuvering around. So if we had a real spread out large floor plan that perhaps covered a really large footprint, we could still have that entire floor plan reflected on here, and then we can zoom in as needed and maneuver around as required. So this is part of our different layer here. So this is where we're looking at these floors. You'll notice all the devices shown here, and we can view different levels and different layers of what we actually want to see on our floor plan. So here on our layers, we can see our different device types from different DALI drivers, the emergency sensors, switches, and we could turn off what we're not interested in seeing. So if we wanted to only see all the sensors and switches, we just turn that layer off as needed. So really easy to just view what's relevant at the time. You can see here I'll zoom in on these devices. They're also giving us the status of the light level. So right now I can see this light is sitting at 100%. So if I wanted to turn off all fittings and not view any fittings that were sitting at 100%, I would turn it off. Or if I wanted to not see any that were turned off, basically you just use these different layers to look at what's relevant. Your address commissioning, so each fitting on here is all commissioned. If we had any that were not commissioned, we could simply view the not commissioned ones. Okay, so these are just layers that you turn off as needed. The identifiers here are those really important numbers that used to be found on as-built plans that were probably hiding out in a dusty filing cabinet somewhere. Well now, because this is a live working site, this is our source of truth. This is all that information that we struggled to have to hand, or perhaps you had to go hunting down which integrator first installed your project to actually ascertain this information. So those identifiers there are simply those numbers that have been assigned to the devices. We could turn off various functions around their faults. So the issues register tells us whether there's some critical issues through to no issues. So again, if we had any issues on this site, we would be seeing them marked by their different levels. So for example, a critical issue would be something that is a failure and it's not actually working, so that's critical. So the groups, here you can see this shaded colours, and this is just an example of some groups we have. So if we wanted to not see how those groups are laid out, we could turn that indicator on or off. So in the world of DALI, we don't necessarily control each fitting as its own unique entity. They're often grouped. And again, that sort of information is usually found on as-built somewhere, so to have it at a glance is a really, really useful feature. So let's look now at our issues. So if we had a site with a number of issues, we could click our little issues tab and be able to see straight away those issues that need some maintenance. Perhaps it's battery failures on your emergencies or lamp failures. That sort of issue that needs to be rectified, you can see and have a real proactive approach, rather than a reactive approach to fault finding. A little bit of information just to remind you what you're looking at is just a little legend here, and then your final cog there is just some settings that you can change. This is a user-based preference, so if I change this, it doesn't change it for everyone, and that's just how you might prefer to look at your plans, what works for you. So let's now look at control. So on any number of these devices or groups, we have the ability to turn the light to a set level, perhaps on or off, or to a set dim level. So right now I can see that these fittings here, I'll drill down, these ones are operated by probably a daylight harvesting situation, so that's why you can see this somewhat strange percentage level. So these lights in this room will be altering based on the lux levels in the room. So if we wanted to actually turn that light on, we've got the ability to just use these quick functions here, or over on the right, you'll see these functions. Something I should mention here as well is drills down into a little bit more information. So this DALI information comes out of the driver. In this particular situation, this driver is not compliant for DALI 2, so it's not drilling down and giving us its serial number and that sort of relevant information that a DALI driver in a Type 2, DALI 2 certified would tell us. It's also giving us the information that we've provided at commissioning. For example, we dictated what fitting type it was and its location and how we want to reference it. So again, we don't have to go hunting out those as-builts. So back to the control. So we've got our max, our min, our off, or we could actually set what percentage level we want it to go to. So really easy to be able to tell a fitting to go to a set level and control it from your dashboard here. Same goes, we can see what group it belongs to, and if there were any issues, we'd be seeing that here too. Another amazing feature that we get out of zencontrol is this overview page. So overview is going to give us the history of that DALI driver. So when was it first put on the site? How long has it been operating for? So from a warranty point of view, has that fitting, if it has failed, has it met its warranty period? Here's your information so you can go back and ensure you're able to maintain it. If we had an emergency fitting here, it's going to tell us at a glance how many times the battery's been discharged and what its state was. Did it, when it did its reporting, did it meet the 90-minute criteria? Did it only get to 70 minutes? All of that history is held in that overview tab. So every time you use your Planview and open it, it's maintaining the information live. So you can pull down and grab it out each time as you need it. Let's look at groups. So in the same way that we could control our devices, we can also control our groups. So for example, our group down here, which we called open space, again, we've now got that ability to control it. We can turn it off, we can turn it on, we can set its different levels. If we had scenes pre-configured for that group, again, we could recall all those different scenes. So you get a lot out of this dashboard from a facilities management, maintenance, issues, but then also the control. So there's a lot going on here. If we had a lot of devices on here and there was a lot going on a really big map, then you would see them come into clusters. So as we zoom in, they would break down and you'd be able to see how many devices are actually shown there. On this map, it's not very large, so we're able just to see all the devices at a glance. The sensor, for example, will tell us if there's anything associated with the sensor or switches. So for example, the switch here is part of the entry and corridors group. So it tells us what it's controlling. Right, so that's about it for today. We've got some exciting stuff coming up in the next lot of tutorials, so make sure you follow us.
Coming up next in our series is the add-on features to Planview. For example, power monitoring or analytics for occupancy optimization.